Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to the Adventure Incorporated podcast. I am your dungeon master. My name is Anthony Reed. This is episode 96, and it is part of a story arc simply called The Pit. I want to thank the patrons, patreon.com/Adventure Inc. If it weren't for the patrons, we wouldn't be able to do all the amazing stuff we get to do, right? We wouldn't be able to do Tavern Nights. We wouldn't be able to do the bonus episodes with special guests that are so much fun. You gotta check them out. We wouldn't be able to do any of those sorts of fun things without our patrons, and so patrons, we thank you. We salute you, in fact, for just being as wonderful as you are and supporting the show monetarily. We just appreciate you. You're the best. And you can be a patron too at patreon.com/Adventure Inc. Then you can be the best. Adventure March is coming. Put it on your calendar. Get prepared. There's not a lot of time left before it begins, okay? We're only going to hear my voice a few more times and then Adventure March will be upon us. So be prepared, be ready, because it's my favorite time of year. And it should be yours too. And I can't wait to see what happens. And let's get started. Nobles and farmers, knights and scoundrels, gather round to hear a tale of excitement and mystery. Brave adventurers facing grave dangers. Belroth, the ranger.
She's a Grimalkin, but that's understood. No pets allowed, even though she's not a pet. I will wait outside. Everyone, if anyone needs anything, I am outside.
Skarpin, the cleric.
Should I just try and snipe them from over here?
Yeah, okay. I did say they were as good as dead. I would hate for my, to break my word on our first contract as Adventure Incorporated.
Ellori, the bard.
We would want you to leave this warehouse.
He points behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Church.
Oh, sorry. We want you to leave this church.
ReedDeeran, the wizard. He say you no worship Shattered Fang.
Yeah, man, he's like super wrong. We love Broken Tooth, Shattered Fang, man.
Prepare yourselves, for these are the tales of Adventure Incorporated. You are in the pit.
What's it like? Jesus, you can't just say that. You gotta paint us a word picture.
Well, I did.
Yeah, open up this pit, Anthony.
Did 25 days ago, but it was just last week for the listener.
1 week ago. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's right. You did.
Dark and spooky.
Yeah, a dark and spooky night.
So as
there's a moon.
you are in the pit. The crags of dark stone that tear up from the ground around you, and the path in front of you leads straight to the path of bones. Overhead, large arcs of, large arches of ancient bone that line the pathway for miles down, twisting toward the great city of the pit below. Wesley stands next to you, and he says, "It is quite literally Path of Bones, I guess."
Yeah, it seems aptly named.
I kind of thought it would be metaphor.
Me too.
Oh, no, this is pretty much what I had been picturing.
Yeah, honestly,
Really?
in every nightmare that I've had, this is exactly what it looked like.
Oh.
Mine was slightly different, but was very bone-related.
Just
okay.
Well, that makes sense for you, Belroth, where there were probably a lot of like animal bones, because that's what you do.
Oh, yes. Actually, quite literally. I imagined giant mammoth bones, but these seem just like regular giant bones.
Yeah, perhaps so. Okay.
Are you ready?
Deeran looks at his own arm, and he looks down, and he's like, I don't know, some of these seem like regular bones.
Oh, yeah, there are
And
bones
he,
just
gets a chill.
all over the ground.
Yeah.
Not the massive bones above, but just crunched up skulls, just like arm bones, like various skeletons are just splayed out across the ground.
Really wishing I had been a necromancer instead. Anthony, if you had told me at the beginning of all this that we were going to go into a place where it was just literally the ground is bones, I might have built a different character.
No, I
The
believe that.
bones are the money. That was the night that the skeletons came to life.
Yeah, I would have been insufferable with that song.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
man.
gonna be. I need to take. Be right back. I need to take a new spell.
The
Can you
next
imagine
time,
Ellery just like bust that out?
the next time we create characters for a campaign, I'll try to let you know what the finale will be like.
Thank you.
That feels good.
Great.
Yeah, honestly, that would help a lot.
A lot of our decisions would be different.
Yeah. Mine's a demon hunter who specializes in bone machines.
I do want to say, I think what my original pitch for Belroth was, I want someone who's like interested in demon history, and he was like, "No, you can't do that."
That is true. I did do that because I said to you explicitly, they don't exist in the world. I don't want
And I was like, "Ah, man, that's a bummer." All right, I guess animals.
So you
And
lied.
you're like, "They exist." Haha, I lied. Peeled back a mask. It's bones.
That's a big lie. Just a big fat lie.
Wow.
That would have been helpful if we knew about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been.
And if we knew all the twists ahead of time. Well, let's get traveling, I guess, down the path.
If you are ready, then
Belroth.
we will go.
Belroth pulls out a bow, knocks an arrow. Actually, as he knocks an arrow, he looks at like, what is Silver doing? Is it like reacting with the environment around?
Yeah, it's almost like it's hard to describe because like visually, but you get the sense that there's almost like this void around the silver head of the arrow. Just like a small pocket of space where it's like repelling the energy around this in this area.
Like, have you ever put something like waterproof, like really waterproof in water, and you're like, it has almost like a bubble
Right.
around it? Like that but destruction
Yeah.
energy.
And the
Sweet.
destruction energy isn't like visible, but it definitely has this element of like this sheen of like pushing away, repelling things in this area.
Got it.
That's true of anything else that's silver. I guess the moon sickle is silver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go, I guess. And Belroth like looks over at Freya to see how she's doing.
Yeah, there's a determination on her face, but she's definitely uneasy. Okay, so who's stepping first onto the path of bones? Is it Belroth?
Skarpin says
it.
No, it's okay, Belroth. I know you're here and you're determined, but I think I should go first.
Sounds like a plan.
Unless you want to, but I just figured I'd be like chivalrous and is that
Skarpin's
So I'll
like, I was
go,
kind of
I'll
hoping
go.
you would stop me.
I'll go if anyone else wants to, but like, if anyone at all.
Yeah, me?
Okay, I'll go. Like,
No, I got this. All right, we can do this.
okay.
All right.
Oh,
Skarpin takes his first step onto the path of bones. And as you do, a coldness washes over you as the bones crunch underfoot. And immediately you feel a fatigue wash over you as you step onto this path. And you take a level of exhaustion. This has now settled in onto you just from the moment you stepped in here. You can feel, it feels like there are elements of you being ripped away, like pulled and torn. That's what is happening as you walk through this path. It's like this constant pull on your essence. Now, it's not like tearing you apart instantly, but you feel like there is no rest. It is just a harrying. And everyone who steps in after him, the same happens to you. Wesley walks in and he shudders. Oh, this is not going to be easy.
I can feel it already.
I have this, and Belroth pulls out the crown of destruction for the trip back. It said that this will help us get on back, and I don't know if I use it now, we can't use it again later.
Wesley turns back and looks down the path, and he goes, oh no. Anyone else turn back?
Yeah, when he says that, Ellery turns.
The path in front of you, just the 4 feet that you've walked onto the path of bones, you turn back and it stretches out as though there are 50 miles to walk. It just stretches outward and outward and outward and outward. And you can already tell that direction on the path of bones is going to be much, much worse.
And this is why I have this, and Belroth puts it away.
Yeah, entering was supposed to be the easy part.
Well, I think easy is a relative term, yes?
Well, I feel like it has a definition, and I was hoping it wasn't relative, but no, okay. Yeah, you're right, Wesley.
Wesley begins to walk down the path of bones. I assume you're going
Skarpin's
with.
by his side.
We're all doing it.
Okay.
I do want to say that there is a point where Ellery is humming to herself and doing the Wizard of Oz kind of skippy step.
Okay. All right. Just to try
if
and.
no one else is going to be cool about this.
Is your goal here to just really push the positivity as much as possible?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah, no bad vibes.
No bad vibes.
No bad vibes. Hey everybody.
Yeah, Ellery.
I just wanted to know what socks you're wearing.
What?
Well, because my grandma always says you never go into an adventure wearing bad socks.
What?
That would have been
Wait,
helpful
don't you
earlier.
This is the first. That one feels so important.
I've said it before. Do you not?
Yeah,
I am wearing my
She did say
maroon
that.
socks. They're the knit ones.
Oh, they're nice.
Yeah, they're very
They're
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like fresh socks is important for all. Your grandmother is very wise.
Yeah, no, I'm wearing my ones with daisies on them because I thought that maybe it would be a little dark down here and I wanted a bit of sunshine. So
You were right.
I was right.
Yeah.
Those are nice socks, Ellery.
Thank you. What about?
I
Does Skarpin wear socks?
I might have started wearing them if I had thought of it, but we just hadn't talked about it beforehand for a long time, and I forgot.
Yeah. I guess it was a while ago. I kind of thought that every time I said something my grandma says that you all remembered it.
Well,
Yeah.
We're, and Deeran, he hikes up his pant a little, and he's not wearing any socks.
Well, I guess they're not bad socks if there are no socks.
Well, I just
That's true.
Low socks.
He peeks over the shoe edge.
Yeah, no, there's nothing down in that boot, man.
Oh.
It's just my toes.
My socks are Argyle.
There's a
What's that?
There's a screech that cuts the air above your head. Some sort of creature that is yelling out. You can't see it through the stone spires around, but it is definitely nearby. Everybody make a perception check.
You do that with dice, right?
Yeah, a D20,
do.
in fact.
Okay.
22,
At
actually.
least for now, until Hasbro trademarks them. Charges a
20.
license to roll dice.
Your dungeon
2.
dice.
4, 5, 6, 22.
Okay.
8.
All right.
21.
Great. Okay. So I will say, sorry, Belroth, what did you have?
2-2.
2-2. So everybody but Deeran and Wesley, you glance through like the columns of stone on either side beyond these pillars of bone that line either side of the path, and you notice like a person sort of clinging to one of the stone pillars. When you see them, they spin bat-like wings on their back, and they fly between some pillars to hide. Go ahead. Give me I guess a nature check, Belroth, for your knowledge of chimerology.
Finally. 25.
Yeah. So this creature is one you've never seen, and as far as you are aware, has never been ever documented as being on the material plane. But there are, for whatever reason, old like sketches and stories that have come out. This is a harpy.
Oh my goodness. And he like pulls out his notebook and starts like flipping through his notes and like rough sketches of what he think a harpy should look like, and like immediately starts correcting them. And like then like flips to a new page, like notes that like, oh, a new page here, flip, starts writing down what he knows and in the way they move. It's a harpy. That we're being followed by a harpy. I've never seen one in real life.
Are they,
Oh, God.
Yeah, they're not friendly, are they? Is that why you're not preparing to fight?
Well, I'm just very excited.
Deeran casts mage armor on himself. The opposite of excited. Afraid.
What do I know about, or at least what should I assume about the nature of the harpy from what I know previous to this?
From what you know previous to this, since they have never really been found on the material plane, they've just been thought to be a myth. But that harpies are incredibly vicious, very dangerous, deadly creatures who crave like destruction and desecration, and that they are also pack hunters.
And Belroth like remember like that fact jostled in his brain, closes the book, like puts it back in his pouch, and pulls out his bow and starts like looking around the other like behind them, saying like, these I believe hunt in packs, so be ready.
Clever girls. And Deeran looks to the opposite side of where Belroth is looking.
Another screech splits the air, and a half dozen harpies come flying in from overhead.
Just before leaving the docks, Deeran handed off a letter addressed to Federation Bay, to Calliope and Galder Lincoln. And the letter says just, "Hey, Mom and Dad, I wanted to catch up and send with you both, but like things have been really busy since I finished up at school, and so that's why I wanted to write. I've been adventuring. I can already hear you now, but know this. We're actually doing things, making the world better, and about to save the whole thing if this works how we think it might. By now I know you know about the demons escaping, especially with how close old Moravia is to home. I don't know what the broadsheets are telling people or what couriers are sharing, but we were contracted by Adventure Incorporated to do the whole thing, and so we've kind of found ourselves to be foremost experts on demons. Crazy, right? Well, my friends, they're pretty cool, by the way. There's Belroth, and I think you might actually like him if you can get past his choice of subject matter. You know, he used to be a professor like you at the Black Scale. He even taught in Prosperity. I never took one of his classes, I don't think, but if I did, it definitely didn't stick. Then there's Skarpin. He's this old guy, I think. I mean, he acts and sounds it, but I don't know, because, like, also he's kind of impulsive, like, way more than I've ever been. Anyway, he's a dream cleric. Some of the stuff he can do really reminds me of some potions I've tried. It's, it's like more food for my everything's connected at its source theory. Oh, I guess I should also talk about that stuff too. And, you were right. I did a lot of focusing on really, really dumb stuff when I was at home and in school. A lot of wild theories that, like, now that I've been out in the world, don't seem to fit together nearly as much as I thought they would. Well, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I wanted to say that you both had a point in telling me to stop messing around with that stuff. The Demon Isles aren't turtles. There's no such thing as mole people. I do keep that one up, though, to piss off Belroth. It's hilarious. And I've come to realize that Archimedes' Silverblade might not be as altruistic as I believed in the past. One thing you were wrong about, though, is devoting my life to the Black Scale as the way to effect the most change and find my true self. There's nothing there for me, and stopping me from going out and doing something earlier may have done more harm than good to me now that I'm actually out here. Honestly, just the tiniest bit of cardio would have been, like, pretty helpful in fighting off all these monsters. There's no way I'd have been able to do it without my friends. Oh, speaking of them, I wanted to tell you about the most important member of our group, Ellori. Dad, I finally get it. When you talk about caring about Mom more than anything else in the world, the whole place could burn. It used to hurt so much, but I get it now. Ellori's the most important person in the world. The kindest, sweetest, and she's got this power. It makes her the most powerful too, I think. She's got this special gift. I don't know how it connects back into the core of everything, but what she has, it's got to be at the heart of it all. Anyway, we're going to the Demon Isles. Then we're going to take a portal into the pit, which is a plane where the demons live, like extra dimensional planes. And there's honestly a super good chance that we never come back. So just know that if that happens and the world survives, I finally made something of myself.
Some harpies come crashing down in toward you, Deeran. The one that you have already killed lying beside you. These two, their teeth bared, blood dripping from their mouths, start to crush down onto you.
Yeah, Deeran points at both of them at the same time and fires off scorching rays at them, trying to catch them and burn them in the air as they dive down toward him.
Okay, perfect. Many more harpies have joined the fight as well, coming from the edges. This whole, as you've pushed your way down the path, Wesley in front, his sword drawn, gleaming brightly, and he's yelling we must keep going, come on, don't stop. And then he's swinging at the harpies as they come in. A blade of magic precedes his blade and slices through a harpy, but more just continue to pour down. Belroth, what are you doing?
Belroth is knocking several arrows. He's trying to take out the air support. He's shooting the ones that are coming in that the others can't, hopefully dealing with them before they have to be dealt with the others, by the others.
Ellori?
Yeah, so Ellori is kind of just swishing the moonsicle around. This is kind of a tough thing for her, but she's sending out her mage hand to maybe do some light punching and swinging out the moonsicle. This close-up combat, because she knows that she has to save her magic, her good magic. So she's just kind of slashing her way through.
And Skarpin?
Skarpin's trying to eyeball when a group of them have been injured and kind of bleeding and stuff, and casts putting a bunch of them to sleep at the same time, hopefully, or attempts to.
One of the reasons that prior to the adventure, Belroth was able to return or get back Amelia's notebook is because there was a low-level enchantment that returns the notebook or gets it to a place where it can be returned in case of death, which is why he thought she was dead. But was like, fishy. He goes to a low-level wizard and asks for the same exact spell put on his notebook. And then he writes several letters. He writes one to Tessa, which is the first one because it's organized. He writes a letter to his family. He writes, and then like a bunch of like 50 stock letters to like every cousin he has, and one to Amelia, which he never finishes. The one to Tessa says, to Tessa, I fear that by crossing into the depths of destruction, I would not return. From the beginning of our adventure, I was afflicted with destruction in a way that I could never fully rid. I fear that I may have been transformed in a way that I can never come back. I am at peace with this. Love you all like a family. We went through hell together, and if you're reading this, we saved the world. In this notebook I entrust to you, there are a few letters that I would like for you to send to others who matter to me as well. I do not know their addresses, but my mother will. Even without the Demon Isles, I'm positive she knows exactly where everyone lives. Also, please give her a big hug if you see her. Please take this notebook and then give it to the Black Scale as a way to guilt trip them into giving me a posthumous doctorate. I think that would be very funny. Also, you can keep it if that's not very funny. I'm never sure if it's funny when I think it's funny. I hope the information in here is useful. I'm sure it's boring, but helpful. But that's my style. Please make sure you watch after Freya. I love you all. Belroth Beacon. P.S. It's not uncommon, but occasionally tieflings grant virtue names to those who they care about very much, who they view as part of their family. So I want to grant you all these following virtue names as a proof of our familial bond. The Guardian of Slumbering Minds, Skarpin Dreamwalker, the Voice of Creation, Ellori Lyrica, and the smartest man in New Moretta, ReedDeeran Truth-Teller.
Ellori, you are on your back, the bones crunching underneath you, the harpy standing over you, trying to tear out your throat. Her bat-like wings on her back beating as she's gripping at you, from tackling you to the ground. What are you gonna do?
Hey, wow, I just wanted to say you're really strong and your wings are really pretty.
As you struggle, Freya tackles the harpy off of you, like spinning end over end with it across the path of bones, scattering the harpy off. And Freya like spins quickly, like bones spraying up and away from her feet as she runs toward the next target.
Did it seem like she had like power of speech?
The harpy?
Yeah.
No,
Freya.
Yeah, I was like, no. I mean,
All this time.
that would be wild now.
Okay. But no real understanding of language.
No one's ever asked.
No, they seem pretty
Belroth never asked.
bestial.
Okay.
Another harpy comes tearing down straight towards you, Belroth. Like they've started coming at you in like a S pattern to try and avoid any shots from arrows that you have. As you've plucked several out of the air on your descent down the path of bones for the 25 minutes or so you guys have been running and fighting.
He's making lots of noises while he does it. You've never seen him shoot this much.
Does he do the whole 4 arrow at a time?
Ooh, yeah. Is he sliding down the path of bones on the back of a harpy, launching arrows?
That'd be
Too
more
nervous.
efficient.
Way too nervous. But he's at least I don't know. He's doing a good job at the very least.
I was hoping more for maybe some Robin Hood men in tights. He already had 4 arrows connected up via string.
Oh,
On the end of them to fire them simultaneously. What is?
I was hoping for more some like Robin Hood as a fox, literally content.
ooh, sure. Yeah.
If we're going archers, you know.
Also a good Robin Hood. What is oh god, just that was embarrassing. I almost said Gebetto. What is?
It's a good name.
It's only
Yeah,
been 2 years. It's fine.
As the harpies are swooping in and like harrying Deeran, he's trying to run using the same mentality as Ellery as he watches her kind of like improvise her way through this without spending like all of her power. He's trying to use gust to shoot sprays of bone into the air in front of him as the harpies are flying into him, hoping they get like lodged in the harpies' throats or like open their wings so that they can't fly anymore. You know what I mean?
For
Like
just $1 a day, you can clean up bones so they don't get lodged in the throats of harpies.
And so he's putting his hands on the ground and casting gust straight up into the air every time one gets close to him as they run down the path.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah. As you have all been traveling down this path, it has settled in on you more. That feeling of being torn apart, and these harpies are not helping, and another level of exhaustion has settled into place as you make your way toward the Black City.
So Skarpin has had feels good, really good about his relationship with his parents overall, and even his brother, but does write them a letter and sends it via courier, telling them,
If you have to visit someone named Baron Sildakar, he's found a way to protect himself, so be careful.
and
I love you, and
P.S.
also he's a dragon, and say hi to Sugarbush for me.
So that's his letter to his parents, and then he also, as he's getting closer, make sure he fills up on some animals, make sure he's nice and full before he goes in, nice and satiated, and says a prayer to Oleander to protect him, his friends, and to give him the strength that to bring them back safely through the Demon Stone.
Another harpy is thunked down by an arrow from Belroth, and it lands at your feet, Skarpin, writhing in pain in front of you, as it like sprays bones all down the path. It has been harrowing so far. These harpies have been unrelenting as you've traveled, and it seems like every step you take, another harpy finds its way into the mix, and no matter how many you kill, there just seem to be more and more and more. There's one at your feet if you want to do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, that fucking sucks.
He's like just stomps on its head, and then looks up at another swarm coming down, and then whips out his winged boots and he realizes, oh. And he puts them on. And then he heads up into the air, shooting off some guiding bolts at them.
Okay, yeah. You like fly up through the air, just like shooting off spells at them, like through the sky. They all like start to sort of freak out from this change. And they start to swarm at you. You realize that as you start to move up above the Path of Bones, the higher up you go, like as you reach the arch, it's worse on the outsides of the Path of Bones itself. The power of the destruction, the tearing apart, and the exhaustion gets worse outside the bone arch than it is inside the bone arch. And that, so, you know, you're sort of limited by a hard ceiling at the top, or I guess a soft ceiling at the top, but the harpies still pour through, and fight you in the air.
Hey, Anthony, does the city seem like it's getting closer?
It does. It does seem like it's getting closer as you go. And then, you know, similarly, if you glance backward, you just watch the road stretch behind you.
Yeah.
But walking forward, you are making progress down the path toward the city below.
Cool. Deeran, like, mentally uses that to steel himself against the feelings that he's feeling. Out loud, he goes, "Guys, check it out! Look behind us and see how far we've come. We're so close now." Knowing, you know, the reality of it, but trying to
Skip.
find some good
Skip like
vibes.
Ellery.
Yeah, exactly.
No bad vibes. Yeah, we get it.
Wesley is unleashing another slash, the wave of magical energy releasing from his sword, cutting through a harpy, as he's slammed into by three more, and rolls down the Path of Bones a short way, wrestling with these harpies that then fly off, with another scratch across him.
Ellery is going to whip out her instrument of illusion. And she is going to do a little strum on it. And she's going to sing, "Look over there, look over behind us. We are not your problem." And she's going to cast the harmless illusion of a spectral dancer is one of the suggestions. So she's going to interpret that like she can like someone who looks kind of like her. And it is a range of 15 feet. So she's going to push this image of us 15 feet back away from the city to hopefully draw some of the harpies away from them.
Okay. And I think it works. I think a mass of the harpies fly down. You know, you lessen the load of the harpies pushing down on you. You know, they fly through the thing and sort of get confused, but there's enough harpies that there's always someone picking a target. And it does a good little diversion there in that moment. Days ago, Wesley Tallow sat in a dark corner of a tavern, waiting as you traveled southward toward the Demon Isles, toward his inevitable fate. In his hands, he held a book filled with his history, his story as best as he could remember. It wasn't until his many, many years deep to the forgetting of his time before that he decided to start writing things down. And this book now holds only just a few of the things that he no longer remembers. But it's enough. Enough to make him weep as he stares at the pages. He thinks about the preparations he has to do before the inevitable comes. He thinks about a letter he may have to write. He comes up empty. He closes the book. He accepts the fate for himself. the only person who will care. The harpies come screaming down once again, Deeran, toward you. They've sort of started coming in a formation so that if you pick off two of them with the bolts of fire, then another one can just like sneak in past your blast. They've like got your counts, and they come in so that you get smashed by one as it comes down in. You are beaten, you are bloodied, you are scraped and scratched. Everyone, you have all been just hammered by these harpies on your path downward. It has been hours traveling down the path of bones, but it's near. The city is near. It's close by. There's a general feeling that even though another level of exhaustion has settled in and you are now 3 deep, and your speed has slowed significantly as you've traveled down this path. The bones below on your feet, just like your feet dragging through them, like they feel heavier and heavier as you try to move them. The end is in sight. It is coming. Wesley is like trudging ahead, and he's like, "We're almost there. Come on, come on." But
I'm coming.
Yeah, we're trying, man.
He is also exhausted, but he still outspeeds you. So like he's still moving faster. Like,
Wow, show off.
New cardio would come in handy as Deeran like trudges his legs. It's like, you know, when snow falls and you like kick your feet through the snow instead of like lifting it up over the snow.
Yeah,
that's what Deeran's doing. Like there's a trail of like foot dragged bone dust behind him.
And as you have moved your way down the path of bones, the bones here are older, more ancient. It is a very clear, like, you know, they went from a pearly ivory to like a deep brown as you made your way down the pathway. Deep cracks set in the arches above your head, and the power here, this power of destruction, has only grown stronger the further down the path of bones you've gone. And like Skarpin, another harpy tackles you with the legs and brings you to the ground, laying in a pile of bone, and you push yourself back up as another one comes to like grab at your shell. It is an overwhelming feeling as these harpies continue to push down to all of you.
Is because Belroth has had a slight demonic transformation, is there a different effect on him in some way?
There is an intoxication. There is an
intoxication
intoxication to the destruction power that you're feeling that I think, and I'm not going to speak for you, but it would be very easy for Belroth to give into it, but you know that giving into it would be potentially deadly, but certainly dangerous. But there is a piece of you, that fragment of you that is bent on destruction, that craves the energy here and is feeling it drawing toward it the further down this path of bones you go.
Belroth is everyone's face is like wincing in pain and is struggling, but if you were to look slightly closer, he's struggling for multiple reasons and isn't sure, but is like thinking about his mother and the teachings that he has had throughout his life and is continuing to struggle to fight back against it as best he can.
Yeah, there's kind of a double element happening for you because you are still taking all of this weakness. You are still being torn apart. But then there's this craving underneath, this a borderline pleasure or promise of pleasure that you know to be false.
We're almost there, everyone. Let's keep going.
Ellery wrote a letter. She's not great at writing things down, so she kind of like, since the whole story that she's been building has been in her head, she like jotted down a few notes, put them in a notebook, and then in the beginning of that notebook wrote, "Grandma, you always said that if I wanted to talk to you or Mom, all I've got to do is close my eyes and hope really hard and you'll be there for me. Well, I'm squeezing my eyes shut right now and hold you in my mind. I can see clear as day you sitting on the Agristral throne and telling all of Naya about the time you left for 2 whole days to search for the missing goat. You were so upset that you hadn't closed the pen proper and one had gotten out, so you bundled up and walked all day and night, getting sadder and sadder every moment, only to return home to find him sitting in your own room eating the dinner you had made before you left. I can see you laughing, munching on the harvest feast. I can see Mom and Dad holding hands, Dad's foot tapping alongside to the music behind you. I can see the whole town listening to every word you say like it's the first time they've heard it, even though you tell that story every year. You say knowing the end of the story before it starts makes you less anxious while listening. I wish I knew the end of my story. It sure might make me less anxious for what we're about to do. I know that every adventure starts with the first step, and you don't always know where you're going when you walk out the door, but you always end up somewhere. I hope that somewhere is back at your door soon, but if it's not, make sure to take these notes and tell our story. I wish I was better at writing things down, but you'll know what to do with them. Everyone's going to have a version of us, but we all know that what can happen to a story in the wrong hands, so please, for me, tell everyone that Skarpin was kind. He can seem a little hard from the outside, always being hungry will do that to you, but I've never known anyone who tried harder than Skarpin to do the right thing for us. Every time he made a decision, it was with a mind for the future and a heart for what's best. He got me started on this adventure and was my very first friend away from home. He always let me eat first, and he never turned down a chance to hold hands. Tell everyone that Belroth was silly. They might just show his books and his facts, but he was so much more than that. He loved his job and his research and could talk about a single animal feather for hours on end with joy and sparkle in his eyes. He knew when and how to make us laugh to stop us from getting too afraid of our own selves. He loved Freya with all his soul, and I could spend hours watching him flip snacks in the air to teach her new tricks. Tell everyone that Deeran was brilliant and the best of us. He saw connections nobody else could, and opened my eyes to a whole universe of ideas. People don't take him too serious, but they're wrong. He's got more passion for making this world a better place than anyone I've ever met, but he can tell when we're in over our heads and how to keep us alive. He knows that the war is more important than a battle, and there's no one else I'd trust more to follow into a fight than him. If we make it out of this, it's going to be because he's there with us. Also, he's very handsome. Make sure the story gets that right. And please, tell everyone that I tried. I can see you packing up the pageant costumes and props, putting them away neatly in their boxes for the next change of season. I can smell the mud mixed into the fresh-cut grass and the oil on your lute strings and the cookies straight out of the oven. I can feel the wind on my cheeks and taste the little bit of salt that's made it from the sea. Wherever I go from here, I'll have you with me, and wherever you go from here, I hope you keep me with you. All my love, Ellery.
The last few steps of the Path of Bones melt away underneath you as you make your way toward the Black City. Behind the harpies, move back toward the stone obelisks off in the distance. And the 5 of you take your last exhausted steps out of the path. As Wesley nearly collapses at the entrance of the Path of Bones, he takes a deep breath. He looks up and he says, "Well, that was certainly terrible, but we did it. It's behind us now. And we have a lot of talking to do. The six of us. As the stranger's voice comes from Wesley's mouth. Hey everyone, DM Anthony here, just reminding you that if you're enjoying the show, tell your friends, tell your family, let people know word of mouth, and you can support the show at patreon.com/adventureinc, or you can check out the shop at adventureincpod.com/shop. Make sure you check the show notes and the website for all our social media, including our Discord, where you can come and hang out with some great people. We'll see you there. And until next week, I wish you nothing but critical success.